everyone, I'm welcoming you all to my YouTube channel today. And today I'll be talking about function in mathematics. Now, what is function? Actually, function is kind of a relationship between two variables. Now, it is not just a mere relationship, because a mere relationship is variation. So I'm not talking about variation, I'm talking about function. Now, function explains deeply on how these two variables will be relating. Alright? Now, for example, function, another name for function is what? I can call it equation, expression, and so on. A function can either be an equation or it can be an expression. These are not types. Now, for the types of function, we have inductive, subjective, injective, subjective, and bijective function. Yeah, these are the functions we have. Now, an injective function is also known as a one-on-one function. Okay, it's also known as a one-on-one function. For example, this is what a function is. An old man who has 4 cars and 4 children died and left the children with these properties. Now, it is left for the children to share these 4 cars among themselves without any form of partiality. You will agree with me that these children are going to be having their car of their own. This is what we call a function, and an inductive function for that matter. Yes, because if he's sharing this car among these 4 children, each child is expected to be having a car of their own. What about if he has only 5 cars and is going to be sharing these 5 cars among these 4 children? Meaning that one car is going to be left, alright? So it is left for them to either decide what they're going to do with that car. Either they give it to anybody, that doesn't matter. What really matters is everybody will be having a car and 1 car will be left. What about if he's sharing these 4 cars among his 5 children? You will agree with me that one of these child is not going to be having a car. Then a bijective function. What about if you have 5 children, 4 cars, and a house? Meaning that each child, the rest 4 children will be having a car, and the last one will be taking possession of the house. Then definitely, if he sells that house, he's going to use money to buy a car for himself. Meaning that all 5 children will be having a car of their own. That is what we call a bijective function. Yes, like I said, the other name for injective function is one-to-one function, and the other name for subjective function is what? Is onto. Alright, let us proceed. Now, a function is easily written in this form. Now let us look at this. This is f. Now, this is how we read it. This is a function of x in a set of real numbers. Before we delve into solving more questions on function, we should explain one thing called domain and the other called what? A codomain. Now, I remember I explained about a father, his children, and their car, Now, if you're talking about just the father and the children, this is called, the father is just the domain and the children is the codomain, because I actually talked about the father, not the children first. Now, if I'm talking about the children and their relationship with the father, then the children becomes the what? Domain, and the father becomes the what? Codomain. How you describe the children when we're talking about the children and the car? We call the children the domain and the car the codomain. Now, the codomain can also be called a range. Yeah, can also be called a range. Now, this one is a function of x. In set of what? A real numbers. Or we can write it as f of x equals to what? R. F of x equals to what? R. So if you're not writing this as a function of x as a set of a real real numbers, you can call it what? F of x in form of what? Arrow. Yeah, x becomes the domain and arrow becomes the what? The range or the codomain. Yes. Now let us take another function for an example. Now here they said, okay, let us take a lighter question. The question that will not give us headache at all. All right. They said if f of x equals what? X squared minus 2. A function of x is what? X squared minus 2. It's x squared minus 2 is negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. Is negative 2, negative 1, 0, and what? And 1. It's how to find the range. Find the range. Alright. Now this is a function of x. A function of x expressed as this is what? Is this. Find the range. Definitely this becomes the domain. And what I said the domain is, it is what we're talking about. So I'm going to fix every single domain into this question. In replacing it with x, and I'll be getting a what? Getting what I call the range. Each answer I'm going to get, if I have fixed negative 2 in place of x, what I'm going to get is a range. So I'm going to affix each and every single one of these values into this expression, or as the case may be. Let me make it an equation. So what I'm going to have is called my what? My range. So let me draw a table here. I'll call here my domain, and I'll call here my what? My range. Okay. Now for the case of the domain negative 2, when I have fixed negative 2 into this function here, I'm going to be having what? Negative 2 all squared minus what? Minus 2. And when you square a negative number, the answer is going to be a positive number. And this becomes what? Form minus 2. And that is what? That is 2. Then what about if it happens to negative 1? If it happens to negative 1, it becomes what? The square of negative 1 minus what? Minus 2. And that becomes what? 1 minus 2. And if you, as the case may be, the answer is going to be what? Negative 1 again. Then if it happens to 0, if you square 0 and remove it from negative 2, if you square 0 and remove it from negative 2, that answer is going to be the same as what? Negative 2. What about 1? If you square 1 and remove it from negative 2, the answer is going to become what? Negative 1. This is what we call what? There's a range. These values we get are called what? Are called our range. Now, this is exactly what a function is. Then let us go to the value of a function. The value of a what? Of a function. Now, a function can change its form, or can say the formation of a what? Of a function. The formation of a function. A function makes another value when the function is redefined. Yeah. Then how do we define a function? How do we redefine a function? Now here they said, if f of x equals 2x plus 1, we should find f of 3x. If f of x equals 2x plus 1, we should find what? F of 3x. Let me write it bold for the case of my people. X plus 1. Alright, now to redefine a function, now this becomes another domain. Yes, this becomes another domain. Now this is the function itself. Now for me to be putting this function into this function now, I'm going to say, so that is to say, f of 3x. Everywhere I see x, I'm going to put the value what? 3x. Okay? That is how we run through here. That becomes what? 2 into what? 3x plus what? Plus 1. And it becomes what? 6x plus what? Plus 1. We have redefined this function by putting into the function another domain. So more questions can be given us. They give you a function, they say find f of 2, f of 1, etc. etc. Now for example, they say this is f of x equals to this value. Then find what? F of 3. Then we put, wherever we see x, we're going to put what? 3. That becomes what? 6 plus 1, and that is what? 7. That's how we handle questions on what? On function. Now there are other more difficult problems we'll be facing as we walk through the bridge of what? Of function. Yes. Let's take another problem. They said if f of x equals 10x, if f of x equals 10x minus 3, find f of what? F of 2. Like I said, we're going to be putting 2 into this function. Now here becomes f of 2 equals what? 10 multiplied by 2 minus what? Minus 3. And this is 20 minus 3, and the answer becomes what? 17. Yes, this is what we call a function of what? Of 2. This becomes our answer. Okay, more complex problem of function. Now sometimes these examiners or the professors on mathematics can be more trickish as they decide to confuse students. Yes, they can decide to confuse the students. Innocent students that want to solve mathematics, they want to learn, they want to confuse them. And this is how they will bring the question. Equals 4x squared plus 5x plus 2. 4x squared plus 5x plus 2. Find what? Alright, now this is a damn complex question. Here we are given f of 2x minus 3 equals 4x squared plus 5x plus 2. Find f of 1. Now, they said the function is equated to what? A quadratic equation. Now, we're not just going to shoot 1 into every value here. No. If you try it, you have made the biggest mistake. So what we're going to do is what we call, we're going to do it very simple. We are going to equate this function, and remember that you can equate this function with that function, f of 1. Then we can remove f and we can remove this one. So what we are left with is this one. 2x minus 3 equals what? Equals 1. Here I can find what x actually is before I move into the question. X is not 1. Okay? In this one, x is not 1. So we find what x actually is. It becomes 2x equals what? Equals 1 plus 3, and that becomes what? 4, and f becomes what? F becomes 2. Then x is now 2, not 1. Then I can add this 2 into this place. Yes, I can put the place of 2x minus whatever is there. I can put what? Put 2. Okay? So x is now 2, right? X is 2. So f of 1 is not the fact that I'm going to put 1 here. It is the fact that I'm going to replace everywhere I see x with 2, not 1. Alright? Alright? Yes, because this is an expression, whether it be a function of its own, and this is another word, another numeral. So I'm not going to just come here and replace it. You're not going to deliver. So don't try it. Yeah, if you put it there, you fail. These professors are what? Are trickish. Now it becomes what? F of 1 becomes what? This becomes 4 times 4, and that is 16 plus 10 plus 2. Yes, and it becomes what? 26 plus 2, and that is 28. I have no questions. So this, you use the big hammer to hit the big guys. Okay? Hello everyone, thanks for watching that very educative video. It was presented to you by Home of Intellect. Please subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified every single time we upload a new video. Wishing to see you all in my next video. Bye.